Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I bank up joined again by Jake and Nick.
What's going on, y'all?
Howdy, howdy.
And today's matchup is me versus Nick. I brought back AOD, and Nick has brought out Gamma 1 and 2. It's actually our shop championship. So, people are kind of just playing some of their best and favorite decks. Like me, AOD. There's buttons. Click them there for a reason. Let's get into today's matchup. So, Nick, Gamma 1 and 2. It's been a while since we've seen him on the channel. What made you decide to play this for shop championships?
I was going back and forth between this and U7. I haven't played Gamma in a while, and I haven't played U7 in a longer time. But I figured Gamma was just easy enough to just tweak just small changes here and there and put it back in. I made a couple changes and then just tweak the sideboard a little bit, so it was easy just to together and bring back. Because it's good.
Yeah, no, it definitely is good. It was brought to my attention that in the past probably 5 to 6 weeks I've played AOD 3 times, which is the most I've done with a single deck. But I've been a little bit more busier and just not building stuff. So
Come on, be real. This is your sweaty deck.
Well, for sure,
I think everybody played their sweat deck this weekend.
I will say there was one of those weekends was a winter card that I know we were trying to pull. Me and Fluff were trying to pull. I didn't pull it. I pulled Beers instead. It was I think Shadow Dragon, and didn't win that week, so it happens. Or I didn't pull it that week, and then I brought it back another time, and I messed up my sideboard and sided in the wrong cards.
Oh yeah.
So now it's shop championship. You're right. I'm trying to be sweaty a little bit too.
Hey, can't hate.
So
I was feeling it the whole game.
I knew this was going to be an interesting matchup because you do have ways of slowing me down with floodgates, but you're also aware that I have Android 13, which could just not play those cards. You also have your own style of counterplays as well.
Yeah, it seems like both of our decks are really good foils to each other. We have really good ways to respond to pretty much what both players are doing. So I feel like as far as matchups go, this is a very 50-50 matchup.
Yes.
Were you worried about playing a multicolor deck into a fast leader like AOD at all?
No, because you never play an energy tapped.
Okay.
There's the 4-drop Android 1718 that's a multicolor dual attack that comes in untapped because of the leader. So there's no point in the game where I start untapped. But for me, the first 2 turns are pretty slow. Essentially, the way I play the deck at least is I get to turn 2 awaken with the unison, just so I can get on the backside and have a lot more defensive power. Just with the Android 17 and 18, just constantly boosting my leader up on opponent swings. So it's pretty slow for my first 2 turns. So I was kind of worried about the explosive power of AOD can do. Because I don't really have much defensive options with 1 energy.
And as you can see, that's what I'm trying to do right now. Like, I knew you really benefit once you hit turn 3 and you can actually use your leader's backside ability. So I knew I just had to kind of put as much power as I could. And this unison helps you on that defensive part too.
Yeah. And then I have things like Bean to slow down the 15k attackers. But we don't see Bean that often, apparently.
How many copies are you at?
3.
It's enough to see 1.
Yeah, non-Android cards are kind of weird in this deck, just because you need to hit an Android off the leader ability. And if you don't have one of the Android 17 or 18s that fix your energy, hitting one of those can really stunt you. So you kind of have to be really careful about what tech you're playing.
Yeah, you can't bring up that high. I'm done.
Yeah. Plus, draw monkeys, you want them in the drop area. Figured, why the hell not?
And I will say, you getting those draw monkeys was probably pretty beneficial for you. especially the fact that you can end up accidentally charging that card.
Yeah, like I was saying, like on the leader backside, like you have to pick up 3 androids. You don't have to put 3 androids back, but you have to pick up 3 androids. So anything that's not an android in your energy just kills you. You don't get a draw. You don't get your untap. So it's your turn 3 is very pivotal. So it's important to mitigate as many non-android cards in the deck or in your hand as possible.
And I did not want to charge a second Senzu Bean. I remember I looked at Nick and I'm like, this sucks.
I would have loved to see one. I mean,
I was charging them.
Here.
Pass the beans, man. I mean, we're both playing blue.
No, I knew from looking into Gamma, seeing it play and test it myself, like I knew you had a lot of different things you could do. So I just had to keep my hand where I needed it and keep, because AOD is kind of like that toolbox. Like it has a little of everything, so it's able to kind of do A, B, and C depending on what my opponent does. So I just had to make sure I hang on to those unique cards.
And I thought it was pretty interesting that you were using your garlics aggressively. What was the thought process behind that?
Pressure. I was awakening this turn, and I needed a way to expend the energy before I awaken. So Garlic Jr. is kind of the best bet in this one. It gives me additionally, I now have 3 attacks. I'm going to awaken, restand energy, and be able to continue pushing to some degree after this. And you can't benefit right now. And I knew as soon as you get to turn 3, if you're still even at 5 life, then you're kind of in a better position than I would like you to be at. So I just need to get these hits to hit. And if you combo cards out of your hand, that helps me out too.
Or if we get cards out of the hand a different way, which were pretty fun interaction going on in here in just a couple seconds. Oh, the fun interaction is just sitting here.
Yeah, it's about to happen. I don't know if Jake saw this or heard about this or not, but
No.
We had a good giggle about it.
So I'm about to use the leader's ability to free play a card, if I recall correctly, and Nick has a response to that, which then I have a response to that, which then Nick has a response to that, then I have a response to that, and it's just a nice little cycle that's about to occur. I think it happens during my turn 3.
Well, you just spoil it. There we go.
It just happens so fast.
So
okay, dude. Okay.
So here's what's happening. And the reason why I went so heavily on this, Nick was willing to tap out and do these counterplays, which bounces the card beforehand, and then on that card's entry, I'm counterplaying that. But he has solution to that, so I stopped that as well. And both of our counterplays hit the cards, so our autos had nothing to do. Like them being played has nothing to do with it. They're just getting hit. But Nick had to discard 2 additional cards for that interaction because the discard is part of Android 13's counterplay.
Oh my goodness.
So I was okay tapping 2 energies to play 1 battle card. Nick spending energy to play 2 cards, but then initially has to discard 2 more cards as part of that process.
Just disgusting. The fact that Android counterplay is not limit 1 and has the reduction on both turns makes it just a horrible card to try and play around.
But see, now I felt like it was kind of risky for you now that you've wasted a good chunk of your counterplays. Now you don't have much defensive options for if I do my floodgate.
That's true. And that was there's one point where that does occur to me. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work. Because
I'm in danger.
Those were the only 2 I had in my hand at the time. And this is such a good thing because, so technically this unit isn't a Android, obviously, but because of the way these 3 drops work, both 18 and 17, it allows Nick to cycle one of those cards out instead.
Yeah, and it lets me see Android cards. So, for instance, I could see a super combo, search it, put it in my energy, pick it back up for my turn. It's just so they make the deck so flexible, and then you have either crit pressure with the Android 18 or barrier, which helps protect you from various effects from other cards. And I think that's your third
It
garlic.
is my third garlic, and this time I played the super combo one. So as soon as you pass turn, counterplays become more risky for you. Now you have already burned 2 of them. I don't know if you have any more in your hand or not, but it makes it you less likely to do them from here on out, as long as this card sticks. And
Which is smart.
I love, like I said, as long as you're able to switch that energy out, like draw ups are so fantastic, especially it gives you something to do with your energy before you pass turn, because you immediately get to resand those 3 cards practically.
Yeah, and it's a strong turn 3 option too, because you need to be really careful, like I was talking about earlier, about what you play turn 3, just in case you hit the wrong card on your energy. So just a free draw isn't bad.
Yeah, it's a really smart inclusion, honestly, just to maximize your energy since you know you're going to be getting it back.
Yeah, and it gives you more opportunity to see your defensive pieces like Fierce destroys, your floodgates, negates in general.
So I see Cell hit the energy. I'm like, okay, cool. Next turn, it's coming out to play. I got to just be ready for that. And I think there's a point where I read it before I even continue forward with my turn, because I couldn't remember if it hit barriers or not at the time. So to figure out,
it does not.
Yeah, and once I learned that, okay, I knew these cards are a little bit safe. And here I'm just trying to get the extra draws or get you to crit a life or baiting out a counterplay, which I think I did remind it. Just as a reminder, you'll have to discard 2 more cards, and you took the crit instead. I will say Nick's one of the few players who will gladly take the crit if he feels comfortable doing it. I've seen a lot of people just go, no, just draw your 2 cards. Just draw your 2 cards.
Yeah, and your hand size wasn't too big at this point. I just didn't want to give you more options. But here was a big misplay on my part, because as far as the way my hand is looking, I have a lot of defensive pieces. I have a lot of ways to get rid of his battle cards essentially right now. But I also had the Android 14 Floodgate, and my biggest thing is I was afraid of another your Android 13 counterplay hitting it. So if you hit that card, essentially it's game over. So my plan was going into this turn was using all my other stuff defensively just to whittle you down, let you spend your resources, and then at the very end go into the floodgate, like what a smart player would do. But
I will
but
say,
here I should.
I swung and I mentally was like, all right, show me the negate. And since you did not play, I was like, oh crap, okay, cool. Do I see it? And I saw it, and like I felt like my heart like just get real, like it just all that weight kind of disappeared for a bit. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm safe.
Yeah, now that I know that you have it in your hand, I literally cannot play the card anymore. So it's essentially, can I survive just with off the small defensive stuff that I have now, instead of hitting the floodgate right off the jump, and then.
And this is what I like AOD so much. I'm able to just swing, and that's it. It plays so many cards where I don't even have to combo. Now, I will say, as we get into the next set with the Awakened Leaders, who naturally have 20k, that's definitely going to change a lot on how I have to play AOD, because that's no longer be a factor there. And you not seeing a Senzu just felt really nice as well.
Thanks.
But those beers just really helped out. Like, it did clear my board.
Yeah. Since all your shit is relatively small in cost, yeah, it's really nice to just get rid of swings and defend myself. So that's why I said that was my main plan, was to use my D magic to make sure you expend your resources, then hit you with the floodgate, as one does. But
and here I end up opting to swing with the Janemba, just because, like, if you establish Cell, it's dead anyways. It's not going to block for me. So might as well get the extra attack out there. It's a 20k. If you're going to defend yourself against it, it's going to be a little bit harder for you now.
Yeah.
So now that I've expended all my attacks, you put out a blocker revenge out there for a little extra protection. But you are tapped out now, though.
Yeah. But at this point now, the way I'm thinking is you're going to have to spend your resources if you want to get more guys out on the field. And your hand, it's... Yeah.
Yikes.
And like my mindset was like, all right, cool, play pan, tap 1, and I'm like, out of it, just pure instinct, I'm like, pan attack, no.
Yeah, don't swing.
I'm stealing this card and swinging twice before I go any further.
Yeah, secret rares are bullshit. They need to come out.
And here, I went to 30K just kind of see where you were at energy wise. I'm sorry, at power wise, if you're willing to combo wise, see if you're willing to combo out. And because you weren't, I was like, okay, cool, this is all out now. And you had asked me about it. I'm like, that was my only one I had, man. Like, if you would have played it, my complete intern would have been completely different. I would have probably maybe swung one more time and then just pass with as many cards I could with my hand and just hope that I could survive after that. Like, I had a way of stopping you by pan. That would stop you from battle card attacks, but you still would have had 2 more attacks afterwards.
Yeah, I would have been able to have a dual attack with the Unison, my leader swing at least one dual strike from the cell, and then you would have had a bottom deck for playing the pan. So, yeah, very different if we floodgated, but live and learn, right?
So with that being said, thank you for the opportunity. Keep minders buttons down below and on the screen. And lead us out, Jake.
Well, you can lead me to a spare AOD leader if you've got one. I know what I'm going to be playing next weekend. Everybody read your cards, know your plays, let us make the mistakes so you don't have to, and fluff out.